So guys, I'm starting the day off by picking up this 2017 WRX STI. I have waited such a long time to actually drive this thing. But if you didn't already know, fydapparel.com has a new release tonight at 7 PM. We have these new burgundy hats, which I am absolutely in love with. We have the tall tees, which I'm wearing in this video. They're restocked with the heather grey one, and we have these fantastic new pullover hoodies in military green and burgundy. They look so sick. I'm so happy with them, you have no idea. But let's get in this thing and go and enjoy it, because I have been waiting a long time to see what the new age Subaru have to offer. And today we're going to be enjoying something that I wanted to get my hands on for quite a long time, one of these. But today we're going to go find some awesome roads and see what this thing is made of. I want to see the WRX's, this STI, what it's got to offer. I'm really excited for this. I've wanted to drive one of these because I love the style, I love the look. Let's get on the road, let's go and see what this car is all about. Model year, so it's sort of the pre-facelift to the very last WRX STIs that have been brought out into the market. This one being probably one of the coolest. So this model year, it retains the 2.5 litre boxer engine, turbocharged. Of course, you cannot have an STI WRX product without it being turbocharged. Now, as you can probably hear, this car is not standard. It has come out of the factory, you know, a little bit dull. They do come, I think, not really sounding like Subarus, if I'm honest. They sound very quiet. This one, though, sounds like a proper Subaru should. This one has a catback exhaust system on it by Invader, a full titanium catback exhaust system that sounds the absolute nuts and breathes real life into these newer Subarus, because I do genuinely think putting an exhaust on one of these is the best thing you can do, because they don't sound like a boxer engine. They sound very dull from the factory. And I was talking to the owner about this, and he felt the same way. He didn't believe how quiet it was from the factory, and that was a massive shame for him. So this is actually an imported US exhaust system, because you can't really get them anywhere else but the US at the moment. The market over in the US for these cars is so big. You know, apart from Japan, of course, is the only place you can get modified car parts for these. It does transform this into a Subaru STI because it sounds like one. So that, coupled with this notchy gearbox, oh, it feels so good. 6 speeds in these ones. It's got a perfect notch to it. Now, I've actually got this car in sport mode at the moment. There is a couple of different modes. Through the SI drive, which is just down here. We're actually in sport mode at the moment, which is a good one to start with. You know, the accelerator does feel quite nice and supple. It's not too aggressive in the sport mode, but once you do take it out of that sport mode and put it into sport sharp, which changes the car a little bit, let's just say that. I think is the best part of this WRX STI. It transforms this into a tighter, meaner, more exciting car. The throttle response, quite frankly, you could put your little toe on it and there is instantance in the throttle response. The steering feels so much quicker, and the responsiveness just goes completely through the roof in this. Although, you know, as a base car, fantastic 4-wheel drive, you know, Brembos as well from the factories, but it does transform the drive into something completely different. The perfect recipe in Subaru land, let's be honest. Brembo brakes with this awesome diff that this thing's got. It's actually got a couple of buttons for the diff down here. You've got auto and manual. Left it in auto at the moment, just so it distributes the power throughout the diff where it thinks it needs to be. This does mean you can shove, you know, the power right to the back, right to the front if you so wish to. Although in sport sharps, very, very responsive, I don't think you want to leave that in sport sharp when you are actually driving through a town. So let's bring it back through into sport mode. Now we're not going to push it down into intelligent mode because that saves MPG, and that's not the idea of an STI in my books. But the sport mode does mean that this thing is, you know, still responsive. It's very easy to drive though still. It's not too sharp on the throttle response, it's not too sharp on the steering either. So if you are, you know, stopping and starting but still wanting to enjoy this thing, that is the great setting to have this in. But we're on a beautiful road again. Let's put it back into sport sharp. Instant throttle response. And it sounds so good. The blow off valve making all the perfect Subaru noises, and that soundtrack from the back end. Quad exhaust as well. Quad exhaust on a Subaru. Such a good thing. So guys, let's have a quick look round this WRX STI. Now it's been a while since I got a Subaru on the channel, and it's for this reason. I wanted to grab this exact car because I just wanted to feel what they were like, and I'm sold on the idea. Hats off to Subaru for making, you know, such a good car. But let's look around this thing because there's a couple of touches that I want to show you guys that I didn't really notice when I actually first looked at this car. First thing being, this front lip is actually off 2018, so the facelift version of this WRX. This is actually the splitter from it, which is an option. Something really, really cool, and it's got the STI badging just down there. Really, really cool looking. Depth to the front with the angles and stuff, really like that. Another thing to point out is that these are actually the US versions, basically, of the running lights. So the indicator will actually go like that. I'll insert them in motion because they look so good. But from this angle, it really shows the boxiness of this car and the straight lines. Loving this sort of indentation at the front as well, coming swooping into the headlight. Such a cool look. And again, the running light coming round there with the headlight. Scoop obviously has to have a bonnet scoop if it's a blue WRX STI, has to be done. Lovely pinstriping as well that the owners put on. STI badging at the front as well, with the sort of cool honeycomb looking grille that's on the front of these. Coming to the back of the car though, oh, such good looks. I love the look of this thing. Coming up to the spoiler, obviously a standard spoiler, but it's had the Perrin just centre bits put in. Just gives it a bit more depth to that rear spoiler. The top little spike sonic thingies, love them. Forgot what they're called, but I love them, I really, really do. And coming down to the Invader catback exhaust system on this, full titanium catback exhaust system with the quad tips. Looks so good with the rear diffuser and that little fog light bit that acts as a third brake light as well. Such a cool design. Again, red pinstriping coming down. Now starting this car up, love the sweep of the dash as it comes on, but this, by science, this is actually an aftermarket head unit that's been put in because the owner felt that the original actual multimedia system that is in here just isn't good enough, and I agree with that. I've had a little play on the original one, wasn't too much of a fan on it, but this actually gives loads and loads of data that you would usually get in one of these. So it still has all your water temperatures and your boosts and everything just here. It's all interchangeable as well, even retaining all of the buttons on the steering wheel with this head unit, which is a massive thing, especially in new cars. You want to make sure that you're able to get all of this if you are going to change the head unit. Now, one thing I didn't know about this Subaru Impreza was from the factory, they didn't actually come with gold wheels. It was actually an option, which was £1,000, which is something that the owner was not really, he didn't really understand. I wouldn't understand either why the same wheel just in a different colour would be £1,000 more. Another thing to point out about the outside of this car is it doesn't actually come with red brake calipers, which I know sounds so insignificant, but I just feel that they should have red brake calipers. So from the factory they actually have black calipers, and this one has had the calipers sprayed red to go with the gold wheels. Again, such a simple thing, but something I don't know a lot of people know, that the wheels are actually black from the factory, and so are the brake calipers. But let's get back in this thing and go and enjoy some roads. Tuck it in. The response. Sorry for going a bit quiet, but very, very good, this thing. It's like of no new car that I've been in recently. Very, very poised, like an old school sort of setup, but in a new school car. Got a big love for that idea. So what's the verdict from me? 2017 model year, you know, from 2014 to 2017, which is this model. Fantastic car, fantastic car. Something I've wanted to drive for a while. It's one of those cars that, you know, I'm intrigued by, because after this, the facelift, you know, that I don't really see many about, there won't be one of these for a while. The STI WRX name, what does that mean? Well, is this the last generation, the last couple of years of this car? And it's brand new now, yeah, don't get me wrong, it's a brand new car, but in 20, 30 years time, is this going to be classed as the last ever ones? Are they going to be electric when they come back? Are they going to be not sporting a boxer engine? Who knows? Subaru may know, I'm not sure, but this could be the last era of the proper Subaru Impreza. Makes me a bit sad because you won't get that thud of the boxer engine. We were having a joke when I picked this up that the Nissan Pulsar now is a little MPV thingy. Now the Mitsubishi Eclipse as well is an MPV thing. I'm not really sure what the hell that is. Does this mean that the new Subaru Imprezas, if not WRX, are going to be basically terrible MPV crossover things? I fear that this could actually be the very last real Subaru version. That makes me a little bit sad. I don't want them to give up this recipe, it's too good. So on that rather depressing note, it's time to go and take this car back. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Subaru, if you ever do watch this, please do not take away the boxer engine or the characteristics or the feel, because it still feels like a proper STI WRX product. It would be a huge shame if it ever come back as any other variant other than a boxer engine, blue, gold wielding bit of fun. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm going to enjoy this car for the rest of the time I have it, and I'll see you all on the next video. Cheers, guys.